Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Charlie. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my delicious homemade heavenly hash cake. Now, this recipe was inspired by the Elmer's Heavenly Hash Candy. Now, Elmer's is a New Orleans-based snack and candy making company that started in 1946. And they specialize in popular snacks like the famous Chewies, which I love, and the candies like the Elmer's Heavenly Hash and the milk chocolate gold brick egg, which I absolutely love as well. Now, this cake is basically a brownie based chocolate cake, and once the cake is baked, we top it with a homemade marshmallow topping, roasted almonds, and a sweet chocolate ganache. This recipe calls for about 12 to 15 servings. It's perfect for holidays like Easter, of course. It's absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all you'll need to make your heavenly hash sheet cake. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need some all-purpose flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, baking soda, unsweetened cocoa powder, instant decaf coffee, gelatin, cornstarch, cream of tartar, unsalted butter at room temperature, large eggs at room temperature, whole milk at room temperature, sour cream at room temperature, heavy whipping cream, light corn syrup, 4 ounces of unsweetened baking chocolate, 4 ounces of semi-sweet baking chocolate, vanilla extract, butter extract, almond extract, and some sliced almonds. And to bake your heavenly hash sheet cake, you'll need some Baker's Joy non-stick baking spray and a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. And there we have it. Alright, let's get straight to it. So let's get started with the preparation of our ingredients. So for our dry ingredients, here I have a medium-sized bowl with a mesh strainer. I'm going to add 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to sift all the ingredients into this medium-sized bowl. Stir all your ingredients together. Alright, let's get started with our wet ingredients. So in a separate medium-sized bowl, we're going to activate the coffee first. So I'm going to add a half a cup of hot milk. And to that, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of instant decaf coffee. And I'm going to just stir this until combined. That smells good. Okay, next I'm going to add a half a cup of sour cream at room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of butter extract. I'm going to take my whisk and stir all the ingredients together until combined. Alright, let's get started with the preparation of our cake batter. So in our stand mixer bowl fitted with the paddle attachment, I'm going to add 2 sticks of unsalted butter, softened and at room temperature. Right on in there. And to that, I'm going to add 1 2/3 cups of sugar. Now I'm going to start my mixer on a medium-low speed just to get that butter and sugar incorporated. Then I'm going to turn my mixer up to the highest setting, and I'm going to mix this on high speed for 5 minutes. At some point during those 5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and stop my mixer, and I'm going to scrape down the sides of my bowl. Continue mixing that in. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Start your mixer on a medium speed and add 4 large eggs in at room temperature, 1 at a time. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Okay, here I have 2 ounces of the unsweetened baking chocolate. We're going to place this into the microwave on high for 1 minute. And there we go, our chocolate is nice and melted. Okay, now we're going to alternate the cocoa all-purpose flour, the milk and coffee mixture, and the melted baking chocolate into the batter. Now we're going to add the wet and dry ingredients in here 2 separate times, and we're going to add the melted baking chocolate in last. We're not doing any measurements or anything like that. So I'm going to add the first amount of the cocoa flour mixture and the first amount of the coffee milk mixture. Now I'm going to mix this on a medium-low speed for about 15 to 20 seconds or until combined. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Add the second and final amount of the cocoa flour mixture, the second amount of the coffee milk mixture, followed by the 2 ounces of melted unsweetened baking chocolate. Make sure you get a spatula to get that all in there. And again, I'm going to mix this on a medium-low speed for about 15 to 20 seconds or until combined. Alright, scrape down the sides of your bowl. Now this next step, this ain't a part of the script, meaning that it's not a part of the recipe, but you can do it if you want to. Alright, now since I have some sliced almonds left over, I'm going to add a half a cup of sliced almonds into the cake batter. And you could use any other type of nuts like pecans, walnuts, etc. I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to fold the almonds into the cake batter. And now, our heaven hash cake batter is now ready. Now you're going to go ahead and spray your baking pan with the Baker's Joy non-stick baking spray. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 325 degrees. Alright, next I'm going to add my prepared chocolate cake batter into my baking pan using the back of a spoon. I'm going to spread the cake batter around my baking pan as evenly as possible. To make the batter more even, shake your pan. Now it is ready to be baked. Place this into a preheated 325 degree oven on the bottom rack. Bake for 25 to 30 minutes. Alright, it's been about 25 to 30 minutes now for our cake. Now let's go ahead and remove this out of the oven. Toothpick inserted into the cake should come out clean. Let this cool for about 2 to 4 hours. Alright, let's get started with making our marshmallow topping. Now I just want to let y'all know that the amounts that I'm adding in here is more than the instructions that I'm saying. So I actually made double the recipe for the marshmallow mixture, but I'm only giving y'all the half amounts. Okay, so in this medium-sized bowl, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of cold water, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar, 2 teaspoons of gelatin, 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon of butter extract, and 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Now I'm going to take my whisk and stir all the ingredients together. Now you want to start off very carefully at first, and then from there, just stir it like that. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's cook our marshmallow toppings. So in this small 2-quart pot, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of light corn syrup. And to that, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of sugar and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Now remember the cornstarch mixture that we just put together not too long ago. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Let this come to a simmer first. Then you're going to let it simmer for about 4 minutes, stirring occasionally. Alright, it's been about 4 minutes now. Our mixture is ready. Now you're going to go ahead and turn your fire off. Now you're going to let this cool for about 30 minutes to an hour. Alright, our marshmallow mixture has cooled off, so now I transferred it into my stand mixer bowl fitted with the whisk attachment. And to that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of gelatin. Mix this on high speed for 6 minutes. Alright, now marshmallow mixture is ready. Now you're going to place this into your refrigerator for about 10 to 12 minutes. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 375 degrees. Alright, let's get started with roasting our almonds. So here I have an 8x8-inch baking pan, and I'm going to add 1 cup of sliced almonds right on in there. Shake it to make it nice and even. Now let's roast this. Place this into a preheated 375 degree oven on a bottom rack. Let these roast for about 5 to 6 minutes. Now every 2 minutes you're going to open your oven and you're going to remove the sliced almonds out the oven and just toss them to make sure that the almonds are toasted evenly. And after that you put them back in the oven. Alright, it's been about 5 to 6 minutes now for our sliced almonds. Now let's go ahead and remove this out of the oven. Let this cool completely. Preheat your fire to medium heat. Alright, let's get started with making our chocolate ganache. So in this small pot, I've added a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. And now let this get hot till it reaches about a temperature of 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And afterwards, I turn my fire off. Now in the meantime, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Let me just stir that in there. And to that, I'm going to add 4 ounces of the semi-sweet baking chocolate. That's 1 full bar of the baking chocolate. And I'm going to just add that on in there. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to add just a slight sprinkle of salt, just a little bit. And to that, I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of the light corn syrup. And you know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract right on in there. I'm going to let this sit for about 3 minutes. Alright, next I'm going to take my whisk and I'm just going to stir all the ingredients together until combined. That chocolate should combine with the cream. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our chocolate ganache is ready. Look at that. Nice and smooth. Now for some quick tips. So at this point, if the ganache, as the ganache cools, it's going to thicken. So let's say for instance, if your ganache thickens while you're doing other things, what you do is you preheat your stove to the lowest setting. Try to stir it at first, and if it don't work, just keep your fire on low and the ganache will get back thin again. Okay. All right, here we have our cake. So we're going to flip the cake over onto this cooling rack here. So I'm going to set this on the side. First, start by flipping the cake onto here first. And there we go. As y'all can see, that's the almonds down there. This is the cooling rack, upside down. Flip it over. And there we go. And put the baking pan underneath it. And there we go. All right, now before we begin to decorate our cake, I just want to let y'all know this. Okay, so on the top here, it's kind of raised. Now I'm going to leave it like this, but you could just take a knife and place it on one end and just trim off the top of the cake. If you want to, it's totally optional. All right, here we have our marshmallow mixture right here. And we're just going to add the marshmallow mixture on top of the cake. Now make sure that the cake has cooled completely. If the cake is still warm, do not add the marshmallow on top. Because if the cake is still warm, the marshmallow is going to melt. And we don't want that. All right, now we're going to add our roasted sliced almonds. Sprinkle that on top. Now if you have any issue with your marshmallow kind of going down the sides of the cake, you could just take your spatula right here and just push it up like that. All right, for the next step, here I have my chocolate ganache. I placed it into this squeeze bottle here. And make sure that the chocolate ganache is slightly warm. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the squeeze bottle and I'm creating a little design pattern here. So I'm going to start on this side here. I'm going to just take the chocolate ganache and I'm just going to squeeze that onto the top of the cake. All right, and this is the other side right here. Do this the best way you can. All right, so now that we have our cake decorated, we have to let the marshmallow and the chocolate set. Now you're going to place this into your refrigerator for about 15 to 30 minutes. Now here I have my cake serving pad here, and from here I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to glide it underneath the cake. Let's go around the edge of the cake, and from there we're just going to take a spatula. We're going to place one on this side, we're going to place one on this side. I also got another one right here. I don't know how the world I'm going to do this. Alright, now before you cut your cake, make sure you heat your knife up until it is warm, so that way you can cut through the marshmallow and chocolate more easy. And there we have it. Look at that. Homemade heavenly hash cake. Made by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. Now I have an official website for all of my recipes, including for this delicious homemade heavenly hash cake. You can go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Can't wait. Now it's time to go eat and take a bite. Oh, look at that. Look at how good that looks. I don't even know where to start. I really like this cake. It has a wonderful chocolate flavor, very similar to a cakey like style brownie. And that topping with the marshmallow and the toasted almonds and that chocolate ganache. It's not overly sweet, just the right amount of sweetness. Absolutely delicious. I mean, soft, moist, flavorful. So, give the recipe a try. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a good one. Peace. Now I'm about to wash this all down with a nice tall glass of milk.